Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, you're listening to World Combat Sports. This is second edition today. Different topic, of course. Appreciate everyone who dropped in through the live chat. Salute to you. Tone in the building. What's good? Salute, salute. All those support World Combat Sports and subscribe to the channel. You know what it is. It's mutual love. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for the support. What's going on, Willie? How you feeling, bro? Good to see you on deck, my brother. Salute to you. You know, I had to come on here and talk about everything that's been popping off. You know, I usually don't talk about it initially when it just scratched the surface. You know, but since the champ sit up here and finally spoke after months and months of just chilling, taking time off for his tough fight in February, which I always said, you know, don't say anything. I didn't mind if he just took enough time off to come back when it was time for him to fight and promote his next fight. But if you haven't heard, you know, he did an interview with 78 Sports and Fred Barbershop Conversations. And it's been several months leading, you know, after his fight, February 22nd of this year with Tyson Fury, that there was so much speculation and turbulence surrounding that fight. And as a fan of the champ, right? And I was saying to myself, you know, seeing him walk to the ring along with a lot of other people, something ain't right. Something isn't right, isn't right, it isn't right. So how do we gauge if something isn't right when it comes to a fighter that we used to seeing going in there with a lot more energy? You know what I'm saying? Vibrant. They understand that it's about to be destruction. You know, we used to seeing that shit, just like when Tyson used to walk to the ring. You know, somebody was about to hit the canvas. You know, that's what I'm talking about, right? Don't play like you don't know. Don't play like you don't know that feeling. On February 22nd, that's not the visual that we had. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it 100. It wasn't the visual that we used to seeing Wilder walk to the ring and like he was walking into the battlefield and it was just another time at the office and we was going to get to see him deliver that ammunition like we've seen so many times before. 41 has fallen. 41 of them. It was a point in time where majority of his opponents was on the canvas, man. It was all knockouts. The first person to go the distance with him before Tyson Fury was Bermane Stiverne. But this is my whole take on this situation, right? And salute to the champ for freaking speaking up finally. He didn't have to do it, but he did. And you know what? It still wasn't enough. So that's why I was like, man, don't say nothing to these individuals. Just let them be as they may. You don't have to come out here and say nothing to them. Just let it be. But since everybody was asking and they was curious, finally he came out and spoke on the situation. You know what I'm saying? He made some points. It's good that he kind of still kept it light. But a lot of people are upset with what he said and who he made, who he directed his energy toward. Tyson Fury, of course, his opponent that night in Vegas. He directed his attention to the glove situation that he himself was the recipient of. So he himself had a good point to say, how in the hell can a fighter that he went 12 rounds with and had laid out on his back in the first fight come back and have all this power? Boxing and physics does not work that way. The physical body does not work that way at that age. You just don't come up here and all of a sudden you possess this power and people think it's because you change trainers. That is not an analogy that we're going to sit up here and think is easy enough for me to feed you that bullshit. I'm not going to try to do it. It doesn't happen in boxing. Boxers just doesn't grow in their man strength when you get 30 years old. You either have power or you don't. We've seen plenty of times in the sport from the Panama Lewis situation where gloves can be altered. It's not like it's the first time that this accusation has been placed out there in boxing. It is absolutely not the first time where someone has tampered with the gloves. It's just so happened in this particular scenario, it was many other variables that contribute to that big night, one of the biggest fights in boxing history. It was 2 knockdowns. One can be considered a trip. But the whole point of the fight was that the damage that Deontay Wilder received inside the square. That's the whole point of understanding that if indeed the accusations that he's making towards these individuals, then why aren't they in an expeditious manner coming back with defamation? Why isn't it an impulsive response to say, you know what, I don't like what you're saying about me, I'm gonna do something about it. I don't like what this is defamation of character. So therefore, I'm going to respond, and I'm going to get with my team, my attorneys, and we're going to do something about it. That's the legal matters that you have, but it's quiet. So those of you that was waiting for Deontay Wilder to come back and say something about the situation, I don't know what you wanted him to say, but he gave you absolutely what was on his mind and what he felt that night and what he thought the people should understand. That's point blank. I mean, it's pretty simple. He basically told you what's been on his mind, and he made a point to let you know that shit wasn't right. He was the one that was in the ring taking the punishment. This is a hurt business. This is a sport where you can lose your life and you can change your life all in one night. You can walk out that ring different than when you entered. You can lose your cognitive process. You can lose a lot of natural ability that you thought that you took for granted initially, walking up in the gym, being able to do things. You can leave there a vegetable. You can leave there and somehow come down with dementia pugilistica for taking hits to the head. That's not a simple process. But if a fighter is coming out with everything that encapsulate that night, and he's telling you, the fans, what happened, why are so many of you all taking that shit as an excuse? And the man was punished. Did you see the blood dripping out of his ear? See the fat lip? Did you see the damage that he experienced on that night? It could have very well taken him to a different place in his entire life, period. Let's forget about the ring. Let's talk about going home to family. Why is it so difficult for individuals to just understand if something may have a percentage of being fucked up? But you have to say, no, I'm not. I'm gonna leave it alone because it's Wilder. I'm not gonna do too much about it because it's Wilder. That's him. I mean, when have he set up here and complained about shit? Like, when did he make excuses? He's been in the ring with several injuries in his career. When has he come up here and made excuses, man? I thought that was all about the sport. To go in there, show that you got the cojones, show that you have the intestinal fortitude, the courage, and put it all on the line. And then after the fight, if you choose to do so or whatever, you can say, well, this and that was going on. But, most of what Wilder was doing, it was on top of victories. He was winning, undefeated. But we still knew some of his fights, he competed with injuries. How much credit are you trying to take away from him if he wasn't the type of fighter who was going in there half-assing the job? Most of the criticism, in my opinion, is people thinking he should fit a template of what a heavyweight fighter should look like. What does a heavyweight fighter supposed to look like? You have a tall, rangy, lethal striker. It's sport of boxing. You use your left and your right hand, and you have the ability to move around. Offense, defense. I mean, you heard it before, right? Fast tracking through the amateurs, going into the Olympics, earning the bronze medal. You heard all of that, the bronze bomber. So if he started boxing because of his daughter and her condition, why isn't that being accredited when people start to crack their lips open and criticize him for speaking out after one of the toughest fights of his career? Why? I mean, I'm not really asking the question for an answer. I'm just saying, why are people being so insensitive to say it's an excuse after the man gave you 42 victories, 41 knockouts? Why is this all of a sudden the breaking point where, once again, the same reason why he didn't give a fuck to talk to y'all after the fight? Why is it's such an urgency for you to want him to return back and say something so you can get on here? Oh, good, he said something. Excuses, excuses, excuses. This shit is pathetic, man. It's a hard knock life being a fighter. It's a hard knock life. 1 minute they cheering you, and the next minute they jeering you. It's a hard knock life, man. When you put all that damn effort in the training camp, blood, sweat, and tears, dedication, breaking your body down to get to the goddamn arena, the main event. You walk into the ring, and your own people in your country are booing you and shit. Why? Why come back and talk to him though? Why are you so in a hurry for Wilder to come back? I'm not an advocate for him. I'm just asking the question. Why would you be in a hurry, some of you out here that criticize the shit out of him for having lack of boxing fundamentals, but he's winning? Why would you be in a hurry for him to return to the microphone to give you any type of understanding or insight to what is on his mind right now following that brutal night in the ring? And then not only was it brutal, right? We're talking about the same guy who you say don't have balance and stuff like that. Deontay Wilder, he was able to rise to his feet twice. He was in a bad place. Legs wasn't there. He didn't look like the Deontay Wilder we used to seeing, that's being able to close in on his opponent, but yet people saying he just has a right hand, right? So take that cannon and you line it up to the 41 knockouts he had, right? And then you go to that night, February 22nd, and you say to yourself, like, something has to be wrong. He's not moving right. He's not as mobile. He's not as fluent. Something ain't right. So let's go to the point where Kenny Bailey stepped up there to stop the fight. Even at that time, with him taking punishment, he was competent and coherent enough to say, "What are you doing?" No, he's like talking to Kenny Bailey. No, why are you stopping the fight? And Kenny trying to explain to him that no, it's not me stopping the fight. It's your corner through in the tower. So he goes over there, right? The same way that they thought he was buzzed off Luis Ortiz, he walked right over there to the freaking corner. He walked right over to the side where Mark Breland was on the apron. He asked him, "What you stop the fight for?" Whatever he asked him, "What do you stop the fight for?" And Mark Breland, he's just up there on the apron, acting like you putting a small child behind the wheel of a car, and you telling them, "Okay, drive me up to the store." No, he asked you a question. There's accountability that has to be presented here. That has nothing to do with Olympian, because we have 2 Olympians. Okay, this has nothing to do with all that pedigree and boxing and all that. This has a lot to do with trust, integrity. That's what the fuck we talking about. We're not talking about everything else. So if the understanding was, do not throw in the towel, allow me to go out on my shield, then why isn't that the basis for Deontay Wilder to make that decision? But yet, other fighters, Mexican fighters, say, "Oh, I want to go out on my shield," and we see the freaking Cepedas and Baranchiks, and we seen fighters take punishment back and forth. They drop, they getting off the canvas, and people cheering them up. Tito Trinidad getting off the canvas over and over again. Ruiz, Joshua, all on the canvas, and people's like, "Oh man, they showed grit, determination, heart." But on that day, in the process of Deontay showing grit, determination, and heart, maybe he was fighting another battle of a fight that wasn't as fair as it should be. Maybe he was fighting against other elements, other insidious elements, premeditated elements. It's not impossible. You just want to make that shit impossible because it's him. Willie say silence is key in times, but the truth will come out if you observe and pay attention. For sure, man. Become Superman in one fight. Man, shit, look at them. Gloves in the Otto Wallen fight and work ethic of the Cheetah Fury. He wasn't that super strong then, and in the other fight neither. Because the hate is so real and the love is so fake. That's on the deadlocks. Yeah, man. Like, why he even come back and bless y'all with even explaining shit to him? Why? I'm not sitting up here. I'm not the one in the ring. But why would he even take the time to even address his public fan base that really don't care too much about him when he's walking to the ring? I'm just calling for what it is, man. I'm not going to sit up here and take out a canoe and tread down the same current like everybody else that choose to jump on here and say excuses. If you think it's a current of excuses, then you're not really reading to what it is than what he's done throughout his career all the way up to that point. You're not really analyzing that at all. You're not taking careful attention and saying, let me be a little bit sensitive. Let me, just relax, exhale, and think about what he's accomplished in his career up to that point with Tyson Fury. Yes, it was his first loss, but even in his first loss, did you see him over in the corner losing control, being that he now know that the towel was thrown in? Mark Breland threw the towel in. Was he out of his fucking mind? Was he going off on his corner? Was he acting like a maniac? The man was calm during the post fight. After all the punishment he received, he was very calm, sung Freud, carefree. Yeah, it was probably a lot of shit on his mind that he couldn't wait to get out the arena to talk about. But for you all to sit up here and ask and ask and ask ever since February, and then you're trying to dog out the media that is still talking about something isn't right with Tyson Fury, a natural known cheat, an habitual cheat, a drug user, a dope fiend, somebody who's got caught cheating and was pinning shit in the Christian Hammer fight, and they sit up here and let this dude put an appeal in so he can step in there and fight for what again? How does that process work? You trying to say all of a sudden he comes back with a mental illness freaking storyline with a new PR team, and all of a sudden that clears him of any wrongdoing, that he would never cheat again? Man, he playing y'all. What's so wrong about identifying a potential? What's so wrong about that? Where did it all go wrong with y'all sitting up here vilifying this man like this? What's so wrong when every time somebody speak out in support of a U.S. heavyweight champ, you want to dog the media out as if we supporting a narrative that has no validity to it, no merit? It's nothing that it has. You're trying to act like it's no merit to what you've seen in the ring. You used to seeing Deontay Wilder go in there and destroy the elite fighters. You can't say he didn't destroy just because he didn't fight Dillian White. You can't say he didn't destroy elite fighters just because it wasn't Anthony Joshua who wouldn't fight him. He fought one of the top heavyweights twice. And after the first match, he offered an immediate rematch, but Tyson Fury wanted to scurry around and fight two soft touches, ragu freaking cans of tomatoes, and then go over the World Wrestling Entertainment, jump off the top rope and play around over there before he decided to come back because he had to get the plan together. He gave him the immediate rematch, but he didn't want it right then. He had to take the time off and do what he did. So when he finally chose to come back and Tyson Fury gets the belt, now all of a sudden the contract is expiring. You know, the contract is expiring. Let me read. Let me go over here to what let me read you some. Bring this shit up. I just want you to hear something right quick. Because reading isn't fundamental. And goddamn it, listening isn't either when it comes to this boxing game. Because y'all feel like cats owe you something. Like, Jesus, man. Like, to be honest, you know, he really didn't have to come back and tell you all nothing. But so many of you all was asking and asking to the point when he finally came back and told you what he told you. It was just what I figured it would be anyway. And that is, people want to look at it like he's just making excuses. We're talking about a person who's been out here grinding and showing up to the ring and doing what he's supposed to do. This is Deontay Wilder, right? It is time for you to be a man and honor your agreement. What is this bullshit you fighting Carlos Takam instead of me? You got to be kidding. When you were going through your darkest time, I told you that if you got yourself together, I would give you a title shot. Being a man of my word, I gave you the title shot. When that fight was a draw, I told you that I would give you a rematch. You know I was offered more money to fight Joshua than I was getting to fight you. Again, being a man of my word, I fought you like I said I would. In the rematch agreement, there was a rematch clause. Now it's time for you to be a man and honor your word instead of trying to weasel out of your agreement. Scared people run, but a scary man will break his contract, you coward ass bitch. I mean, what more has to be explained? What they say, what's understood don't need to be explained. I mean, was that not enough? I mean, that was pretty straight to the front, straight to the point and blunt, right? SB90 in the building. What's good? I mean, what y'all think about that, huh? Is it wrong what he said? Because we're talking about people up here accusing him of making excuses if he has a fear in his body of fighting, boxing. You trying to tell me all of a sudden, at 42 victories, Deontay Wilder is fearful of stepping in the ring with Tyson Fury again? Because if he was a man who was listening to people from the beginning that was telling him, man, you started boxing too late, man. It's too late. What division you gonna compete at? Heavyweight, man. You too light to do that shit, bro. You might want to reconsider that. Come on, be smart, man. Continue to work 3 jobs. Continue to work 3 jobs. You're good. That hurt business is no joke. You can lose your life. Nah, he did just the opposite. He went ahead and he was thinking for himself. And he stepped in the gym. You know, him and JD's linked up, his team. And he had that team for quite some time. Now, this is where the bookmarker happened, right? This is where you bookmark the shit. If you all were saying why he was winning, unblemished, undefeated, if you all was criticizing him while he was laying them down, stretching them, I know Tank Davis had a freaking knockout yesterday, but check the roster of highlight reel knockouts of Deontay Wilder. I know Gervonta Davis had an amazing, brutal knockout of Leo Santa Cruz. I seen it with my own eyes. I was there. But check out the catalog of Deontay Wilder's knockouts. And I want to ask you this. How does all of a sudden he get to a point in his career where he's scared? Like all of a sudden, he's scared to face Tyson Fury in a trilogy, coming off the February 22nd fight where this man was still on his feet when the fight was stopped. He was still throwing punches when the fight was stopped. And you're trying to say all of a sudden at 42 victories, he's scared to step in there. So he's making excuses for his loss. He has one freaking loss, man. For you all to present him as a fighter that was too light for the heavyweight division, but yet he was winning. If you all want to continue to put labels upon him as if he's talking too much, then who the fuck are you to go around here on social media and on new media and say and give all this criticism toward him as if you are without imperfections? Why would you get on here and say that shit over and over again, and you want to criticize him for having this brash bravado, this being outspoken, being the people's champ, but yet y'all can get on here and get personal about this man as if he don't even have a family, he don't have shit, and then the media that support the champ genuinely, y'all want to say, oh, we dick riders. That that term mostly come up only for Deontay Wilder fans. And it can be a little bit of a cliche prejudice of discriminatory type of term to use just to say, well, why are you supporting the champ anyway? You just dick riding. So he takes 42 victories and he takes his one loss, and all of a sudden he's scared to fight. All of a sudden, he's making excuses for his loss when the belt has been gone since February 22nd. You're not making any clear sense to me that I choose to digest. You're not making any sense to me because a man has sit up here and amassed a career of closing people out early. Knockout after knockout after knockout with the same fragmented skills that you say he didn't have from day one. You say the man didn't have boxing skills, but he's competing on the elite level of boxing in the heaviest division in the sport. So therefore, you have to sit up here and take consideration that he's did a damn good job at what he's doing. He's reigned as champion for over 5 years with 10 defenses. He wasn't able to get that 11th in there, but he did step in the ropes to defend his title for 11th time. So let me ask you this question. Why do you want to hear him speak? Why did you want to hear him after all these months? You get on here, you put the titles up. Deontay Wilder hasn't said nothing. He hasn't said nothing. He's been quiet. Oh, he's a fragile, broken soul. He's mentally broken. How can a man be mentally broken who's used to breaking dudes? He was blessed with the uncanny ability to knock people the fuck out. How all of a sudden he's mentally fucking broken if you saying that he was fighting with fragmented fundamentals of technical skills in the first place? He just didn't possess the skills that we used to seeing in the heavyweight, in a boxing period. He looks more like a basketball player. He should go play basketball. Just shut up and dribble. Don't lace up gloves. But somehow, some way, right? Y'all are overlooking the fact that this man was innately blessed with punching power from a frame like that. Seriously. Like he doesn't have Manny Pacquiao calves. The brothers, we used to have slim calves, and we get that scat out. We was blessed with that Elks, you know what I'm saying? That speed to get up out of town. We wasn't blessed with huge calves, man. But we was blessed with speed. We was blessed with athleticism. There has to be some pluses in there now when you're talking about Wilder. There has to be some pluses. It can't be all negative now. I'm just here. The sport cannot say, okay, the heavyweight division is the toughest division, but yet you're not giving credit to one individual who reigned for a long time, holding one of the most coveted belts in the division. I know this is not going to bring a lot of people in because it gets to a point where you want to hear the criticism of Wilder. You know what I'm saying? And you're not getting that right now. I'm not giving you that right now. It's not this type of live. I don't care how many people that I know that are absolutely against the grain on the narrative that I'm speaking on, but I'm telling you, it's unfortunate that you had a U.S. heavyweight champ who was a black heavyweight champ, right? Reigned for as long as he did, but yet he was unappreciated. When the man was speaking up and being the people's champ in public. And it takes us back to the Muhammad Ali and the Jack Johnson. I guess you didn't like the tone of his voice, and you definitely didn't like the message that he was sending. And that's the freaking personal problem to me. If you're going to sit up here and have a problem with the way he boxed, why are you so quick to defame this man and excoriate him in the media for being less of a man? You basically saying he ain't shit in life. Inside the ring, you got an issue with him. Outside the ring, you have an issue with him. That's personal. It ain't got nothing to do with no fans. This shit you talking is personal. Why is it so personal though? I mean, did you get stood up? Were you invited somewhere and he didn't show up? If you're talking about just the ring side, inside those ropes, what did he not do that you was expecting him to do when he was undefeated? What wasn't he doing? If he was fighting the top fighters in his division, what more was he supposed to do besides go in there and finish his job in devastating fashion? I mean, y'all used to glorify a legend they call Mike Tyson. Let's be clear. If you want to compare personal lives and outside the ring activities to vilify somebody, that might be an individual that you look up. You know what I'm saying? Because boxing ain't perfect. That's why you have a collective group of individuals from all walks of life able to compete and earn a living. But you have Deontay Wilder that really hasn't been in that situation. And I know there's a lot of people really wanting him to be in that situation so they can have a legitimate reason to vilify the shit out of this man even more. Not popping, no positive test, not in and out of jail, spending bail money that he can be spending on his family. Not an embarrassment to his people. Even though a lot of his own people was booing the shit out of him, criticizing him, saying he wasn't shit as a black man. But yet you can't really come up with a solid conclusion to say why you are sourcing. What is your source? What is influencing you when it comes to the champ to feel that way about him? What is the influence? That's all I want to know. What influenced you? Is it the brash bravado? Because Muhammad Ali, he used to be one of the best trash talkers in the game. But every time you ask, hey, what's your top five? They want to throw Muhammad Ali in there. So let me ask you this. You going to do Wilder the same way? When he's out the sport, are you going to throw him in there? Are you going to give him his flowers, as he said? Or are you going to be able to give him his flowers for what he was able to accomplish as a heavyweight champ? Because if you don't, you're a coward. If you don't give him no credit for what he's been able to accomplish in the sport of boxing, you're a coward. If you want to sit up here and glorify other fighters from other countries so easily, fighters who have been strung out on the canvas, who have basically quit, who refuse to fight Deontay Wilder, then you're a coward because you're not even trying to be fair. If boxing was like going to college and all you had to do was study up on it and go take a simulation test, and then it's all virtual, and you had your fighter all drawn up nice, everything configured properly, and you fought via a virtual machine, then it'd be different. But this is physical human beings going in there to compete in a full contact sport. That's the way boxing has been. Now, what happens in the ring is absolutely up to the two competitors that's there. I want to ask you again, when it comes to Deontay Wilder, when he was undefeated and winning, what was it that he was doing that you didn't appreciate? Isn't having an O on your record what you all talk about all the time? Undefeated, the reigning, defending. Isn't that what it was all about? Heavyweight champion of the world. He is Deontay, the bronze bomber Wilder. Isn't that what you want to hear? Like undefeated, unblemished, reigning, defending. But yet, he gave you all that shit. Wrapped up in a right hand, left hand, however the TNT you wanted to get it, he gave you that shit. And it still wasn't enough. And it's bad. It's extremely bad, man. I ain't gonna lie. What's going on, Michael Johnson? What's good? He said, my question is, why do everybody who don't like what he says cares? They only care because of viewer count. That's the era that we in right now. It's a lot of people that have access to create accounts and get on here and spin it however they feel like. And if they have enough people to tune in and to follow and to co-sign on everything they say about a particular fighter, then they're good. But for me, that's not what it's about. Because when I pop up in places and I post up what I post, it's for the love of what I'm able to do, period. But some people just, have the ability to get behind the screen and go against everything that is supposed to flow in direction of. They take it and go in the opposite direction with it. If a fight ends a certain way, just like this weekend with Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz, they spin it and go backwards and say, well, Leo Santa Cruz is too small. Then if you're going to say Leo Santa Cruz is too small, what you saying about Deontay Wilder? He was still knocking dudes out, and he was very undersized. But guess what, people? Alexander Usyk, huh? The former unified cruiserweight champion, found out that shit ain't as easy as it look, huh? Being a light heavyweight. I'm talking about not in a light heavyweight division, but being a light heavyweight fighter in the heavyweight division isn't as easy as it look, huh, Usyk? You found that out. But I can guarantee you, if Wilder was in there with Derek Chisora, it wouldn't even be close. If he stepped in there with Dillian White, it would be the same results as Alexander Povetkin in shorter fashion. It ain't that easy, is it? Everybody hyping up these neighboring fighters and you booing your own fighter in your hometown. I mean, where do we develop this type of energy and figure that we have to sit up here and dog out a human being? But yet, if you saw him actually, at these cards and seeing him doing interviews and basically seeing him doing bomb squads for the kids and seeing him at these local fights supporting his fighters or whoever and wherever he was at, if JD's was putting on a fight card, with his team, with his unit and everything like that, then you will have a clear understanding. But I truly don't think y'all care. If I tell you what I seen, y'all don't give a fuck about what I'm saying because you just thinking, you just support You just support Wilder. That's why you're saying it. Okay, just say the support is for real, right? That's true. Why would I sit up here and create something that didn't happen? What's the point of it? If he wasn't at a particular place at point of time, then I can't sit up here and just fabricate the shit and he wasn't there. But as far as him giving all these bomb squads and talking to the fans and being approachable, he wasn't walking around with 7-foot dudes. No, he's approachable. He's a heavyweight champ of the world. He's giving interviews. He has his persona about him that we love and adore in boxing. But somehow for Deontay Wilder, people pretty much looked at him like, man, I wish he would shut up. Oh, how can he get on the radio station and say the Bronze Bomber looking for a body? What? Tell me this then, like I always ask. Do you want to hear him talk about something? Or you want to see him go bite somebody's ear? Or you see him try to go in there and mutilate somebody? Or cause somebody harm when they got to go home to their family? The last time I checked, ain't that what Nip said? The last time I checked, one was action. That's all I'm saying. Would you rather him go in there and bite ears off? Because I thought it was just boxing of a new era that's gotten a little soft. But isn't trash talking a part of the game to build up a fight? And do a fighter that's splitting the ropes have to explain to his fans why they trash talk if the fans are not the one that step into the ropes to get the job done? No, right? So why should it be a problem if one particular fighter trash talk, but yet you up here glorifying everybody else? If Joshua say anything, oh, Joshua, we love when he trash talks. We just love Anthony Joshua. He can do no wrong. He's the perfect champ. Everything about his title reign has been absolutely perfect. But he wouldn't fight Deontay Wilder, though, because he couldn't. He wanted to talk. And y'all saying how Anthony Joshua was more fundamentally sound than Wilder, but he was too scared to get in there with that heat because he know he would have got scorched, period. Joshua never wants to step in the ring. Even with this one loss, you're not going to hear Joshua saying, you know what? If I am able to get past Pulev, you know how you have other fighters talking about fighters they want to fight? If I'm able to get past Pulev, right? Let's just say Tyson Fury wasn't in the picture and Deontay Wilder had a loss, right? Deontay Wilder still, in the top 3 of the heavyweights on everybody's list. Anthony Joshua could have the belts and he still wouldn't say, you know what, let me challenge myself. Let me go ahead and face Wilder. That fight would be huge. You can't say it won't be huge when you was the same ones that were supporting Andy Ruiz, who had goddamn melted Snicker bars in his pocket, going over there to Saudi Arabia out of shape to face Anthony Joshua for a second time, knowing that fight was garbage. That was a garbage ass fight, man. So you think Wilder versus Joshua won't do good numbers, even though he doesn't have a belt? It'll do grand numbers, man. Because people have this understanding that those people who support Joshua feels that he has a better skill set than Wilder. And the ones who support Wilder totally understands that he has the equalizer. He has the one quitter, good night. So match them two up together. And let's see what the results are. I don't see Joshua making out of the 3rd or 4th round. That's because if he's able to run like he did against Ruiz, Joshua doesn't have real good cardio, and we've seen Deontay Wilder have astounding cardio as a lighter fighter in the heaviest division of the sport. So according to how he's pressing Joshua, if by chance he pressured Joshua as he did Tyson Fury in their first fight, Joshua will gas out quick. You know what he's going to try to do? He's going to try to shoot that right uppercut. We already know He's going to do the 1-2 if he get close enough to do it. We already know what the robot Joshua is going to do. But let me tell you this. When Anthony Joshua took that loss against Andy Ruiz, why weren't y'all singing the same song about, oh, they should have stopped the fight? Joshua rolling all around the canvas. He up there spitting his gum shield on the canvas. I didn't hear y'all saying, Mark Breland throw it in the towel. Where's McCracken at? Where? What was Ben Davison? All these trainers that's respected. I didn't hear people saying they should have threw in the towel when he was taking that punishment. Why? Because Ruiz didn't look as threatening as a 280-pound freaking Tyson Fury. He was a shorter guy, so y'all didn't think he was delivering that much punching power, or y'all pretty much thought Anthony Joshua has a suspect chin to begin with. So my question is, a knockdown is a knockdown, right? So if Joshua was all over the canvas getting dropped, what was the sense of urgency to come up there and say somebody should stop the fight? Joshua's taking too much punishment. So stupid in fact that he's a dope fiend and a cheater. And it's not surprising that all on the line he cheats with gloves. Somehow I'm getting the impression, Willie, that Tyson Fury cheated in the past, but we got this new wave of people that choose to ignore or jettison the fact of something that's hidden them right in the face. Like, they always had this term called once a cheater, always. And the way Tyson Fury has been able to cheat, it's almost like just because he's from a neighboring country, they give him a pass for cheating and getting away with shit. They give him a pass so much to the point where they would never do that for a U.S. fighter in Wilder's shoes. They would never do that shit. They would absolutely never give Wilder a pass if he was a unified champion and abandoned his belts, stripped, left the sport on drugs, pop for pads. And not only that now, what if one of his family members also was caught cheating? Do you understand how much of a detriment it would be for him to return to the sport and face the media after coming back, ballooning up in weight, having a drug habit, and for him to try to explain to black people, to U.S. people in general, what he went through? They would be calling that man a crackhead. They would be saying you a dope head, you ain't shit, you a disgrace. That's the first word they're going to use. You as a disgrace. You disgrace your own people. You disgrace your own people. So if that's what it's about, why are y'all sitting up here acting like y'all in a hurry to hear him talk when and y'all's the same one that was criticizing the man, saying he was classless? Y'all was getting personal, man. Y'all was spinning and turning that motherfucking blade, man. Y'all had that motherfucking blade in his back. Y'all was turning that bitch. What is the reason for it, though? Why does certain media, let's say black media, we have to get on here and follow all the other media outlets that may be? I'm talking about the ones who's sitting up here saying that Deontay Wilder lacked this and that as a boxer, right? When he was undefeated. Why is it being portrayed as offensive if WCS get up here and advocate for a boxer that he supports? Why is it in your court considered wrong or injustice to support someone who is competing at the highest level of the sport of boxing? If I've met him several times and he hasn't fucked with me, like, why do you want me to present a resistance of hate just because everybody else is doing it? Why is the criticism there just because you don't like the way the man's boxing. I guarantee you, if he was much shorter and he had those present vulnerabilities, as if I can take Deontay Wilder. I heard somebody say the other night that put me in the ring with him, I can whoop his ass too. And I'm saying to myself, man, you know how fucking stupid you sound? Like, y'all really think one loss from a knockout artist in the sport, you're talking about you can step in the ring with him? It doesn't. Listen to what you're saying. You're saying his skill set is so fucked. He's so fucked up as a fighter. Put you in the ring with him. Do you know that man would slap the motherfucking taste out your mouth for a whole year? Do you understand? For him to go in there and drop, I'm talking about knock grown ass men who's fighting on the highest level of boxing out. What do you think he'll do to you? Especially if you're not a clean person in general. If you smoking, you drinking. Man, come on. It comes to a point as a man where you got to stop talking this bullshit all the time. Y'all need to understand what this man did for the sport. Y'all need to understand what he did as a fighter in the heaviest division and being one of the lightest fighters. You have to understand what Alexander Usyk did against Chisora. It's not as easy as it looks, huh? This shit is not fucking easy. Who gives a fuck if you was freaking unified champion in cruiserweight? I'm pretty sure Wilder, if he thought about going down to cruiserweight, being that he was damn near a cruiserweight, fighting in heavyweight division, when he was still knocking dudes out. So who's to say he couldn't have went down there and picked up a strap? When you're blessed with power, it's always going to be in the cachet, man. He ain't going to Walmart and seeing if they got that shit in stock. That shit didn't come from the shelf. He was innately blessed. And he challenged all the best. Him challenging all the best in the sport wasn't enough, because now you want to criticize the man technique and form. And you always said he faced this, he faced that, he faced this, he's going to get beat. Well, the man faced the best, and he stepped in there with Tyson Fury for a second time whenever he came back around. And y'all think just because he changed up the Sugar Hill and we got the crunk specialist in the building, that's supposed to bring. If indeed Sugar Hill has that freaking metric, and he has that enigma, why doesn't he have fighters across the board that's able to replicate everything that Tyson Fury was able to do? Why isn't he producing fighters out his stable? They're like that. Why aren't we seeing crunk shirts all over the place with him taking control of fighters, and they come in here winning big fights like that, turning fighters around like Fury? Man, because the shit don't exist. He was able to do that shit with enhanced elements. That's period. It don't matter what you put in the live chat. You can be mad. You still gonna come around and hit replay. You can be mad all you fucking want. It ain't gonna change anything. Y'all up here bitching and moaning, waiting for the man to come back and speak to the public as if he's doing a disservice. How can a heavyweight champ in the U.S. footprint do a disservice, right, to the people who was booing him in the first place? It should have been no way, no how UK fans was able to drown us out. Not from what I heard in the Barclays. Like, once again, I repeat, not from what I heard in the Barclays. People was cheering a fight that only lasted 2 minutes and what, 17 seconds or something? And people was jumping up and down. Goddamn, let me rewind just a bit. The walkout. When Deontay turned the corner with his unit, and they was moving as a squad, and they came out the motherfucking tunnel. He had the damn his battle garb on. He's walking to the ring. Motherfuckers was hype. The energy was unfucking believable. At that moment, I say it is some people that fuck with him like that. They exist. I don't know if it's just over here in you know at the Barclays or whatever, but it's people exist that support Wilder. He went in there against Dominique Brazil, you know, a fighter who he had a history with. Two black men in the ring. Of course, you know, when it comes down to it, blacks, we're gonna choose which one we want to support. And of course, if they don't like a certain one, just say they ain't like Wilder, they're gonna say, man, I hope Brazil get lucky. I really hope Brazil get lucky because Wilder, he doesn't have what we look for in a heavyweight. I hope he get lucky. He got lucky. Absolutely. It wasn't a pot of gold either. You know what people do on the bridges? They sleep. He got lucky, goddammit. It wasn't that goddamn leprechaun shit either. When he got that knockout, I didn't see. Look, I didn't hear not one person. I didn't hear people. Everybody was in freaking chaos. They was cheering. They was like, God damn, that was a brutal knockout. Dominique Brazil got up, stumbled back to the ropes. Deontay Wilder exited the ring, started walking up, taking pictures and shit, man. Doing what the people's champ do. Showing love to the fans. Come on, man. The man just went in there and finished the fight in just over 2 minutes. He up here taking pictures, talking with the fans, giving them memories. They're giving the fans memories for when he was on, you know, when he was coming off another brutal knockout. He was showing love like it's supposed to. He was showing that he's approachable, he's reaching out, and he can be that guy. He was giving bomb squads all the way back to the last one and then going to the dressing room. He was basically showing that he's that type of individual and you can relate to him. But when I tell people that, they want to make it seem like it's fabricated. But no, I was actually there. And salute to Deontay Wilder. I appreciate you giving me 3 bomb squads. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not 3 bomb squads, three to this day, which is motherfucking legendary, man. To this day. To this day. To this day. This is after he knocked out Dominique Brazil. Shaking hands and shit like champions supposed to do. You ain't gonna never be able to tell me experiencing that part of greatness in boxing I don't appreciate. If you're not here to appreciate moments like that, then why the fuck you covering the sport? Just to sit up here and say you have a logical you have a logical opinion about something, and that logical opinion of yours is to criticize and break fighters down that you don't like, but you want people to embrace the fighter that you do, usually it's a neighboring fighter. You want to talk about how they are as a person. So-and-so, he did this. He had this freaking amateur pedigree. His mother and father, have masters in psychology. They have their own business. And, they drive a Tesla. And, they have 2 properties. They have investment properties. You're giving all this rundown. But I'm looking like, if you here to cover the sport of boxing, y'all, wouldn't you be glorifying what the fighter is able to accomplish inside the ring and the facet for which they was able to get it done? Isn't that what we expect out of the heavyweight division? Isn't there a point in time where the Klitschko brothers was running the game for a long time because US did not have a surplus of contenders to go in there and take them off their throne? So when you were able to get a fighter like Deontay Wilder out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to come in here and give you that, why wasn't it enough? Why you don't want to hear what I got to say when it comes to Deontay Wilder? And I don't even talk about him all the time. Because when he was out of sight, out of mind, I was saying to myself, he don't owe the fans any explanation to anything. He was the one in there that took the punishment while they was booing him going to the ring. So if it's up to him to accommodate, just because people up here, we need to see Deontay. Why? Y'all was the same motherfuckers that was up there booing him. Boo, boo. This is it. Tyson Fury, he's looking good. Tyson Fury's in shape. This is it. Deontay, I got my money on Fury. I got my money on Fury. This is the night Deontay go down. He goes down, gets back up, goes down again, gets back up. This man was on unsteady legs since he entered the ring. The towel is thrown in. The fight is ended. He comes out with a statement that only he himself and his camp could attest to. Not me. I wasn't there. I'm just speaking on it. Why are people not acknowledging the fact that there were voices out there when Deontay Wilder was winning, right? And those voices were saying he should fire his team. This is when the man was unfucking defeated. They were saying he should get rid of his team. This was when he was undefeated, y'all. Get rid of your team. They're not even doing you a justice. They're not teaching you shit. Get rid of your team. So he fires Mark Breland for various reasons, right? And people act like Deontay supposed to come up here and explain to you why he took the action he did. You all was telling him that he need to get rid of his team when he was undefeated, but yet he fires Mark Breland. He never should have did that. And then I tell people, it's not like Mark Breland was on the freaking ring apron screaming out freaking advice when he was sparring. It wasn't like Mark Breland was a boisterous, a loud, outspoken individual that really got into the freaking commands. Why do you feel like it wasn't up to him to make that decision to get rid of somebody who he may have felt he had outgrown? If he felt it was a violation of trust, isn't that what we do? If you don't trust shit, why you keep it around? If you don't trust something, you don't keep on revisiting it and saying, you know what, I'm comfortable, I'm acclimated, I'm gonna keep on. Man, the stinger, I'm getting used to being stung. Shit. The motherfucking damn, after a while, if I get stung 100 more times, I'll be immune to the stings. But goddamn it, that shit hurt. I'm just gonna keep it around though. Who does that? You don't keep something around you that you don't trust. If he felt like there was any type of optimism, if there was any type of fractious type of layer that, you know, that make him double, you know, just second guess himself about Mark Breland, he should indeed made the decision he did. It don't matter why. If he's at this point in his career and he has one loss, I think his team did a damn good job. So he gets one loss to his resume, and he makes changes just like Joshua did. Y'all wasn't sitting up here puling and crying and queefing when Anthony Joshua got rid of McCracken. When he got rid of Ben Davison. I didn't hear y'all on here crying like that. It's plenty of boxers that's done changed trainers, i.e. Gennady Golovkin. I didn't hear when he got rid of Abel Sanchez, did it? I didn't hear y'all crying, oh shit, Gennady got rid of Abel Sanchez when he signed a new contract. I didn't hear y'all up here crying and bitching then. So why is it all the way wrong for Wilder to make a command decision moving forward? It's not anything wrong with it. It's just extremely petty that you feel like he has to give you answers. He has to get on here. He's been out here doing what he does, spending time with his family, or whatever else he got going on. He doesn't owe you all anything. He doesn't owe me anything. He doesn't owe you all anything. Nothing. Y'all just wanted him to come out and talk so you can have some to make a video about and talk about and go against the grain and say he's making excuses. I read an article that said Wilder making these heinous, they use the H word, y'all, heinous accusations. Heinous. How can the accusations be heinous? If he feels that his water was spiked, then somehow, some way, he has enough understanding and a source of information to believe it. Why is it such a bad thing that it couldn't happen? Like, worse things has happened in boxing than somebody spiking your water. It's not like that's the first time. They always talk about water. They just had a recent thing where Tony Harrison was accusing Charlo of having a different water bottle. And you go back to the Aaron Pryor and Alexis Guello. You know, Panama Lewis was accused of saying, "Hey, give me the one that's mixed." Come on, man. You ain't talking to no rookie in this game. This ain't the first fucking time water was spiked. If he believed the water was something was put in there that hindered him from feeling 150% going in there in one of the another biggest fight of his career, he has every right to do so, y'all. Seriously, he has every right to come out and make a statement like that. But once again, what's disappointing is my people, black people, those of you that's orientated around calling Wilder a lie after the man has took a beating and hasn't even came out and said shit. Like, the man hasn't came out and said shit until recently. He has not came out and said nothing until recently. But yet you're using it as if, oh, he's silent because he's mentally and fragilely. He's broken. He'll never be the same. He's mentally broken. I don't think he's able to function in society anymore. I can't imagine what's going on inside his home. He's probably have to get assistance everywhere he goes. They probably have to help him read when he gives a statement or make a video. There's people out there that's thinking like that, man. You know what I'm saying? They really giving this man no chance of carrying on with his life just because he didn't say a word to the public. You was mad when he did the freaking interview with PBC and he kept that shit dense and vague, shallow, just enough for you to get your motherfucking tip of your toes wet. And he let months and months and months go by. And motherfuckers talking about he depressed. He's depressed. He's deeply depressed. Isn't that what I'm not even going to give his name any shine. Isn't that what he said? Wilder's deeply depressed. Did you go by and do an examination? Did you have a therapy session with the champ? I mean, why is it so easy for people to come up with all this shit? Why are you mad when people speak on it? Because they support the champ, but yet you acting like that's against the law, like that's going against every code that's in it. It's no code in this new media. It's no code in media in general. Everybody has their own direction in which they choose to go with their narratives. And if they have enough people following them, those same people can go to different channels and push that same narrative. And then you have people that's able to so-called understand that they can be as fake as they want to be, creating these accounts that's obviously ghost accounts, and push these freaking derogatory and offensive freaking claims and feel good about it because they don't have respect for themselves. They're all about the fuckboy shit. Absolutely. But I want to salute Deontay Wilder for coming out and speaking, which I always say he didn't have to. And really, it didn't do too much of anything with him coming out and speaking because these people don't appreciate what he's been able to do for the sport. But I salute him for actually taking the time out to call out the people, to call out the situation with Tyson Fury who's a known cheat. And this is the hurt business, and they're competing in the heavyweight division. So guess what? If you was up there cheating and hopefully, something further comes from it, you have individuals to look into it. Y'all need to get off this firing of Mark Breland. This if it's against the law. A team is just that. A team is there to support the fighter. So if he want to release Mark Breland like he has and go on about his business and move forward, then so be it. But you all have to hold yourselves accountable for the same ones who was up here saying he need to get rid of his own team. So he get rid of one person and y'all still don't, it's not enough. Now y'all switch it up and say, oh no, you shouldn't have got rid of Mark Breland. Not the Olympian, not the former world champion. He's a nice guy. Man, come on now. It's a lot of nice guys that do fucked up shit every day. It's a lot of unsavory characters that's nice guys who have a fucked up mentality. A lot of them. But y'all do me this favor, though. I'm not going to stay on here an extended amount of time because I could. I just want you to do me this favor, man. I understand that Deontay Wilder gave you everything you look for as a heavyweight fighter. He was giving you the intensity. He was giving you the dog, the tenaciousness. He was giving you knockouts. He was going in there to win. He was going in there to put on a show and entertain. But outside the ring, he allowed his voice to be a key to open up to the people, as champions do. He was talking to the people. He was allowing them to know that he can walk amongst them. And he has a message for his people. And people act like it's against the law for fighters to support their own kind in a way to talk about the history that we've came through as Black people. We do have a history in life. We do. There's nothing wrong with talking about. We have a history of it. That moment that him and Raheem had, that was authentic, man. You don't ask a question about your people. What you mean, your people? That's our people. You can't separate the shit. To this day, I bet y'all missed that, don't you? Bomb Squad, I bet you missed that, huh? That shit is silent right now. Who else is in the shoot that's going to give you what Deontay Wilder? Who else in the U.S. footprint? Y'all going to be wishing and hoping in the next 4 or 5 years that you had a champ that can come back and give you that bravado that you're missing. If Jared Anderson is your next hopeful heavyweight, somebody need to call him up and get him prepared for this. You need to get him prepared for the inclement weather, the turbulence that he's going to experience. Because everybody want to glorify, oh, he has a long ways to go, people. He has a long ways to go. I'm not saying he can't be great at what he's doing. And I have nothing against Jared Anderson. But people are touting him as the next big deal for the U.S. heavyweight. And I get where you're coming from. I get it. I get it, y'all. But he's no Deontay Wilder. He's no Deontay Wilder, man. They saying that put Jared Anderson in there with Alexander Usyk. He's ready for that. I'm telling you, go ahead, put him in there with the top names. If you think that's what you want, he can box. I ain't gonna lie, Jared Anderson can box. I like him as a fighter, man. But I want you to understand how limited we have with U.S. fighters, especially Black U.S. heavyweight fighters in the sport today. The big name is out there. You know, you have Michael Hunter. I'm saying the big names is out there from the U.S. footprint right now. That's standing out is Jared Anderson, man. You don't have 1 through 5 that you can choose from. You don't. Joshua's going to have the belts until it comes time for him to come off of them. You know, people want to say they want to see Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, but you know damn well that fight is not going to give you what you're looking for as if it was freaking Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. You know damn well it's never going to give you that climactic moment of suspense, knowing that Deontay Wilder is only a moment away from touching bases with Anthony Joshua's chin and putting him into an unconscious state. It's only a matter of time. That's what it would be if Wilder and Joshua was fighting. People understand that. That's why they want to criticize and say Wilder isn't ready, Joshua do this, that, and the other. But they want to keep that fight from happening because it would be brutal. And you know what? I would want that fight to be in the UK. I would like for Wilder to go over there, if he was presented that fight, go over to the UK and knock Joshua out in his own backyard. Knock him cold out. Knock him out. That's not something he hasn't experienced before. Bring all the pyrotechnics and the fireworks and everything else they have over there because it looks good. I ain't gonna lie. The way the UK, you know, bring Joshua to the ring, that shit look awesome. I wish it happened over here in the US. But as a fighter, I've kept the same narrative about Joshua. Just like I kept about Alexander Usyk. You can't say it's a black-white thing. It's a boxing thing. Those two right there are overrated. It's just like I said about Vasily Lomachenko, and people are here shaking their head, talking about he don't know what he's talking about. I say he's overrated. Just wait till he get to the solid competition that matches up well with him, and look what happened. Done. He want to go take a picture in the hospital bed. But this ain't about the lightweight division. This is about the heavyweight champ. All I'm asking is, you know, just take a little bit of time and, man, assess where you at right now. Who's next? Y'all gonna do Jared Anderson that way? When he don't look his best? I know he got a lot of growing to do, but what's next? Does he fit the bill? Does he give you that composite that you was looking for as a heavyweight champ? Because it's a brutal, lonely side up there at the top. Can we see him going in there against a taller fighter? Does he have enough boxing skills to go in here in that division and emulate what Deontay Wilder was able to do while he was reigning as champion, while he was just fighting as a heavyweight, period? Will he be able to make it happen? It's not going to be that easy, people. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying for what Deontay Wilder was able to accomplish in his career is amongst the greats to do it. You can't just say he's in the heavyweight division, he ain't fought nobody. You can't say that. Because you know damn well, outside of the top three, you know damn well they wouldn't have lasted that long in there with Wilder. You know damn well he was up here fighting a top competition. And if it's a top competition, that means everybody else below them is not up to that standard yet. They're not on that tier. I don't care how much Dillian White talk. We've seen what happened. Dillian White was ahead in the fight, and he goes in there and get crushed. One of the most brutal knockouts of the year. Crushed. Annihilated. And then he wakes up and says, I want a rematch. See, that's one thing I can appreciate about Deontay Wilder, right? He wasn't up here talking about, man, I just want to get back in there again and, you know, just have a better showing of myself. He did have a good showing. If the man was less than 40% that night, had to stay outside on the ropes because his legs weren't there, and he still ended the fight when the towel was thrown in, he wasn't knocked out. That's a tough mofo right there. That's a very tough individual, man. That's an extremely tough dude. For him to take as much punishment as he did, and if by chance his water was spiked and he wasn't feeling the way he should have, right? For him to stay on his feet and take the amount of punches that he was taking from a heavier fighter, that people were saying, oh, you know, he has Sugar Hill in his corner. He's a rededicated fighter and he's the best to ever do it and all this other shit. If that is the case, I have to salute Deontay Wilder for being a motherfucking warrior again. Unfucking believable, man. One of the best heavyweights of this era. Serious, one of the best heavyweights of this era, man. And I appreciate having the opportunity to freaking see him in training camp on more than one occasion. I don't know what y'all gonna think about it. But if by chance we don't get to see the fight again coming up, don't think this shit is just gonna absolve and go away and disappear. You think the contract is just gonna, get flushed away? I mean, get shredded? I mean, what are we thinking here? Y'all want to push for him to fight somebody else? And there's not going to be any repercussions, any legality to it. So if that's the case, contracts don't mean shit in boxing. And on some levels they don't. But you trying to tell me that's what's going to happen? That's exactly what's going to happen. Tyson Fury can make his own decision because he picked up the belt. He go fight somebody else and then get paid and go over there and hopefully fight Anthony Joshua for the undisputed. I wouldn't be so quick to count Deontay Wilder out of the equation. Don't be mad at me, because if you're the same individuals to say that he don't have this, that, and the other, and you go down the whole timeline of bullets criticizing what he doesn't have as a fighter. So why are you coming over here mad about a fighter who I support and you don't? Like, if you don't support him, don't waste your energy and trying to convince me to believe what you're saying is true, because at the point in time, he was 42 victories, man. He had a knockout percentage over 95%, right? I'm just curious to ask, what more were you expecting while he was in here destroying his opponents? What more were you wanting to see? Because every time Mike Tyson name come up, y'all say, oh, he was knocking out this, knocking out that. But then y'all don't think about the time where Buster Douglas knocked him cold out. When have Deontay Wilder been knocked out? When have he been crawling around the canvas searching for his mouthpiece? When have he been in prison? When has he sit up here and caused melees and shit during press conference? When has he went up here and bit off body parts of a compeer his in the same division? When has Deontay even came close to being a guy who's impulsive and just going out here reckless and getting in trouble? When have you seen him in the blog? When have you seen him on the news being arrested in the bracelets, handcuffed again, going in there, posting bail? When have you seen him out there like that? So I'm just asking, like, why y'all actually hate the man as a person? Because you don't appreciate him as a boxer. How can you sit up here and say, man, I don't like that dude, period? Why don't you like him? Like, why the fuck you don't like him? It's a lot of people out here that I can give you that you shouldn't like. Like, if he was going around acting like Ricardo Mayorga, then I can see why you might not like him. Slapping other people's girl on the ass. I would say try to do that. I mean, I can see if he was pulling out a cigarette in the ring. What about Andrew Galata? What if Deontay Wilder would pull the Andrew Galata and freaking start hitting low, hitting fighters intentionally in the cup? What if he would have been outside jumping off cars like Larry Holmes? What if he been fighting in the streets like Mitch Green, Tyson and Mitch Green? What if that was the case, man? I can go on and on about shit that happened in history. What if he was in there for domestic violence and shit? Would that be a legitimate reason for you to have that animus towards him? Yeah, that would be a legitimate reason. But if he was indeed keeping himself clean, not popping for drugs and none of that, why the fuck is it important for you to hear him speak and then say he's making up excuses when the man was undefeated for a long time, reigning as champion? Man, that shit ain't, man, you don't have to answer it. Because it's a comedic affair when you have so many people that's talking about the sport of boxing, but yet it comes down to someone who's actually giving you what you want in the sport, maintaining an undefeated ledger, going in here destroying dudes in the heavyweight division, but yet you want to talk about how they look, how they talk, why they talk, how much they talk. I mean, it's so freaking childish though, man. Like, we're talking about grown ass adults doing this shit. It just doesn't make any sense to me why it's so easy for people to find a reason to get personal with this dude. I'm not gonna apologize for shit that I just can't relate to because I've never experienced the shit. You talking about the same man when he was eating? He still gave me an interview when he wasn't even finished eating yet. When he was at a fight card down here. You think I have a reason to get on here and say he trash and he ain't shit as a person? I just haven't been there. I haven't known him for a long period of time, but I'm saying interaction grown man to grown man. I'm older than he is. He ain't never got down, did any fucked up shit for me to come up here and say, damn, he might feel something. They say boxers have different personalities and shit like that because they're getting punched in the head. But when it comes to Deontay Wilder, I can say he's been a cool cat, man. He's been respectful, approachable, all that shit. I was grateful to go in his camp and get to know his team just a little bit, see them in person, man, at his fights and stuff like that. So why in the hell I got to get up here and spin a narrative and ask why he hasn't spoken? Because I look at it this way and this way only. If they ain't fucking with you when you on the top and you giving them everything that you would think and assume that they want and being the people's champ, and they booing your ass when you walk into the ring, my lips are sealed. I don't care about nothing else. My lips are sealed. It's disgraceful, man. Being on these threads when he was at the Staples Center facing Tyson Fury for the first time, and everybody was talking about he was about to get his ass whooped, and Tyson Fury was gonna knock him out, even though he ain't a knockout artist, right? And they was wishing Deontay Wilder's downfall that night, and people booing him. Okay, we say California fucked up anyway. You have so many people over there that's not from California. Okay, but still, you're in the U.S. footprint, right? That's considered a state, right? Then he goes to the MGM Grand, and the same shit happened. And Deontay Wilder has ears. He was bleeding out of one of them in his last fight. So therefore, before he was actually at that point of engagement, he had to walk to the ring. They cheering Tyson Fury and everything, and they have every right to do so. They want to cheer the cheat. But Wilder takes his walk to the ring, for some reason, that aura that he was emitting, something was radiating off his body that caused people to boo. This wasn't the first time. This was the second time. Like, you're booing now consistently, and that's your U.S. heavyweight champ, and you don't feel no type of way about it. So you're rooting for someone who has basically never defended a title in their boxing career. Why the fuck are you following the sport? He never defended his unified titles, not one of them. He has been a controversial figure who is now accused of playing dirty, something that you would sit up here and frown upon if Deontay Wilder was caught cheating in the sport. I know he didn't have that motherfucking right hand all by himself. He had an egg weight in there. Could you imagine if Deontay Wilder was accused of not having his hand in the glove properly or having an egg weight or anything to that sort? Could you believe the backlash that he would receive for the rest of his life? He would be banished. Fuck booing. Y'all be trying to test that dude every time you saw him in public. It'd be like the protest and shit. Motherfuckers just be doing reckless, impulsive shit and committing violent acts. But since it's Tyson Fury and y'all love to hear him talk that bullshit all the time, y'all give him a pass. A motherfucker that was a dope thing. That disgraced the sport, never defended the title, left the sport, came back. For all the people who has mental illness, he want to sit up here and take advantage of them and come back knowing damn well that he's competent and say, oh, it's a mental illness. And even Wikipedia changed that shit. But if it was Deontay Wilder and said he had a mental illness, he's not fit to fight. It's no way. He's not fit to fight. We can't have the champ. He's not fit. Somebody do something about it. He's not fit. He admitted that he had a mental illness. He's not fit. Somebody do something about it. My God, please. Let's have a vote this weekend. We have to find a way to get him from underneath that belt. By God, please help us. Could you imagine if he said that he was mentally ill? He had mental illness? Why isn't Deontay Wilder sponsored by some top names? I mean, how much of a record? So you want to freaking glorify Jimmy Wow, right? You want to glorify Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., right? You want to glorify him for all the wins that he was able to collect, and remain undefeated before he took his first loss, right? That's important to you, right? But how high does the number have to be? And what does that fighter have to look like? Just tell me, what does a fighter have to look like? Because 42-0, I mean, what does he have to look like for you to put him in the history books and say, damn, that's commendable right there. We praise him for his hard work and going in there competing as a freaking true heavyweight champion. What more? What more are you looking for? If you're going to dive into the history books, let's swim. Because there's a lot of people that they want to talk about in history that was fucked up individuals. There's a lot of people that's goddamn glorified as greats of the boxing who was fucked up individuals. They did fucked up shit that Deontay Wilder hadn't even scratched the surface with yet. And y'all sit up here and say just because he spoke out, it's excuses, the same thumbnails, excuses, all the fucking time, excuses. What's a poor ass excuse is that you don't want to make a command decision and stand up for yourself and hold your square and say, you know what, if I feel this way right here, and I feel that, Deontay did what he had to do as a boxer, I'm going to give him his just due. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give him his respect for competing at the highest level. That's what the fuck I'm going to do. I'm not going to jump on everybody else's freaking wagon with square wheels and ride that bitch down the hill and say, God damn, this a bumpy ass fucking ride, ain't it? But I like it. Because everybody else is riding them. Fuck us around, fuck circle. No, we're going with squares right now. That's what it feels like looking at all these fucking thumbnails and saying it's excuses. If it's not seeing exposed up here, it's excuses. So you shouldn't feel no type of way when a fighter don't give a fuck about media. You really shouldn't feel some type of way about it. Because y'all some disloyal. Not all of them, but there's some disloyal bitches out here. Y'all shouldn't be mad when fighters don't want to fuck with media, because there's some disloyal bitches out here that have a motherfucker enough fingers on their hands to utilize the home keys and press enter and hide behind the avatar. What if YouTube said, from now on we're doing away, just like Google did with Hangouts, right? I want to make this announcement that YouTube will no longer have an avatar setting. For security reasons, we want everybody to use their webcams and camera, please. That would be the only way that you're able to basically communicate and do live streams, is that you show your face. Because we have too much of a security issue going with fuck boys going around here creating accounts. They don't have nothing better to do. Criticizing fighters, criticizing, daily life. They decondition as a human being. And they want to get on here and play games. They're not the ones who's lacing up the gloves, training, sparring, taking a punishment, road work. They're not the ones who's going in there in this particular time in a bubble for a week, sitting around, making weight, going into the ring. They're not the one who's doing it. But they are sure enough get up here. Did you hear Deontay Wilder spoke today? Did you hear? Oh, wait, he said. Oh man, the video's out there already. Go check it out. They look at the video and they frown in their squinted eyes, gritted teeth. Motherfuckers fists are clenched. God damn. Damn, I don't like that nigga. Oh God. He finally came out and said something. Shit. He's accusing Mark Breland of something. He accusing Tyson Fury. God damn it. I mean, nigga, what you looking for? He lost. Is it something he's supposed to apologize for? Like, once again, y'all was telling him to fire his whole team when he was winning and on top. So now all of a sudden he take a first loss and he needs to come out here and say, what again? Like, what are you looking for him to say? It's like motherfuckers waiting around and say, I want him to talk about the beating he took. I want him to talk about the punishment. What were you talking about? Oh, you was looking for the situation with Tyson Fury being a cheat. You want him to address that. Okay. Now we getting somewhere. He addressed the shit and y'all say he was making excuses. You wanted him to address the shit. People done made countless videos on it, countless of videos on the glove situation and all the areas that Tyson Fury potentially cheated, right? All of that. It's multiple videos out here. Everything that you wish for. And then you put excuses up there. You put excuses up there. That means you didn't give a fuck to begin with. You just wanted to hear his voice so you can goddamn get some more views on the video. You just want to make sure your description, your keywords is in there so you can post that shit. And then you can go on about your business and hope you get enough views so you can goddamn buy a pack of cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? Man, you know what it is. Turn up and tune in World Combat Sports, man. I'm out. Salute to the Bronze Bomber. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You know, you got some real ones out here who support and look forward to seeing you back in the square, man. You know what it is. Salute.